Close your eyes for a second and imagine the color red. Not the word red, but the actual feeling of it. Fire trucks, stop signs, ripe strawberries. Now imagine being told that what you see as red might look completely different to someone else, or might not exist at all in the way you experience it. Color is something most of us take for granted. We assume everyone sees the world the same way we do, just with different tastes or preferences. But for millions of people around the world, color works differently. Not worse, not broken, just different. So what do colorblind people actually see? Is the world gray? Is it dull? Are traffic lights confusing blobs of light? And how does someone even realize they're colorblind in the first place? Today, we're unpacking what colorblindness really is, what it isn't, and how it shapes the way people experience the world, right here, on History of Simple Things. Let's clear something up right away. Most colorblind people do not see the world in black and white. That idea comes mostly from movies and cartoons, and it's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Colorblindness is not the absence of color. It's a difference in how certain colors are perceived. Human eyes have special cells called cones, and these cones are responsible for detecting color. Most people have 3 types of cones, each sensitive to different wavelengths of light, roughly corresponding to red, green, and blue. The brain blends signals from these cones to create the full spectrum of color we experience. Color blindness happens when one type of cone is missing, weakened, or works differently. As a result, certain colors become hard to tell apart, especially when they appear next to each other. So instead of a world without color, it's more like a world where some colors overlap, blur together, or lose their contrast. When people talk about being colorblind, they're usually talking about red-green color blindness. This is by far the most common type, especially among men. In this case, reds and greens don't disappear, but they can look very similar. A bright red might appear darker, more brownish, or even closer to green. Green might look washed out, yellowish, or grayish. Imagine sorting socks. 2 socks that look completely different to you might look almost identical to someone with red-green color blindness. That's why many people discover their condition through everyday moments, choosing clothes, reading charts in school, or playing games that rely on color cues. Importantly, this doesn't mean red-green colorblind people can't see red or green at all. They just see them differently, often with much less contrast. Another form is blue-yellow colorblindness, which is rarer and affects men and women more equally. Here, blues and yellows become hard to distinguish. Blue might appear greenish, and yellow might look pale or gray. Purple can be especially confusing because it relies on both red and blue signals. For someone with this type, a clear blue sky might not feel as vivid. Certain warning signs or color-coded maps can become surprisingly tricky. Again, it's not about missing color. It's about colors blending into unexpected places. There is a condition where people see the world mostly in shades of gray. It's called achromatopsia, and it's extremely rare. People with this condition don't perceive color in the usual sense. Instead, they see brightness and contrast, light and dark, shape and movement. Interestingly, many people with achromatopsia are also very sensitive to light because their eyes rely more heavily on rod cells, which are better for low-light vision. Even in this case, the world isn't empty. It's still rich in texture, depth, and detail, just without the color layer most of us experience. One of the most fascinating things about colorblindness is how normal life feels to those who have it. Most colorblind people don't walk around feeling like something is missing. They've never seen the world any other way, so their experience feels complete. That said, certain situations can be frustrating. Traffic lights rely heavily on color, but most countries place lights in a fixed order to help everyone. Maps, charts, and school materials often use color coding without patterns or labels, which can cause confusion. Cooking meat, picking ripe fruit, or matching clothes can take more effort. Many people develop clever workarounds. They memorize positions, rely on brightness differences, or use apps that label colors through a phone camera. Over time, these strategies become second nature. For many, the realization comes unexpectedly. A child might fail a color-based test in school. Someone might be told they're wearing mismatched clothes. Others discover it during a medical exam, job application, or even a video game that relies heavily on color cues. What's surprising is how often people go years without knowing. Because their vision feels normal to them, there's no obvious signal that something is different until a comparison happens. That moment can be confusing, funny, or emotional. Some people feel relieved to finally have an explanation for years of small misunderstandings. Is colorblindness a disability? This depends on context. Medically, colorblindness is classified as a visual condition. Practically, it's usually mild. Most people live full, independent lives without major limitations. However, in environments poorly designed with accessibility in mind, where information relies only on color, it can become a real barrier. That's why inclusive design matters. Adding labels, patterns, shapes, or text helps not just colorblind people, but everyone. The issue often isn't the vision, it's the system built around it. Can colorblindness be fixed? Currently, there's no universal cure for genetic colorblindness. However, there are tools that help. Special glasses can enhance contrast between certain colors for some people. They don't restore normal color vision, but they can make differences more noticeable. Results vary widely. Some people find them life-changing, others barely notice a difference. Research is ongoing, especially in gene therapy, but for now, adaptation remains the most reliable solution. So, what do colorblind people see? They see a world that's fully formed, meaningful, and alive, just with a different color map. Colors may blend where yours separate. Contrast may matter more than hue. Certain shades may never stand out the way they do to you. But that doesn't make the world dull or incomplete. It just makes it different. Understanding that difference reminds us of something important. Reality isn't one fixed image. It's a shared space experienced through millions of unique perspectives. And sometimes the simplest things, like color, turn out to be far more complex than we ever imagined. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.